I'm Katie Martin.
And I'm Chris Hicks, and we're Extension Agents with the University of Tennessee.
Every day, Extension agents in 95 counties across the state help ensure Tennesseans have better farms, homes, and communities.
We're traveling the Upper Cumberland to introduce you to the farmers, families, and Extension agents who are cultivating communities.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cultivating Communities. Actually, our Season 2 finale of Cultivating Communities. And for our finale, we are so excited to have you back in Smith County today.
Yeah, we're going to go to Kyle Owen Farms and also Southern Foliage. And maybe sometime today we'll get answers to the question of what's all that black plastic next to I-40. So join us as we tour Smith County.
Since Chris had the opportunity in Season 1 to share with you about the agriculture in Smith County and the great work that goes on in the extension programming on the ag side of things, we wanted to take our opportunity in this episode to share with you a little bit more about the programming in our other two areas, 4-H and FCS. I'm Katie Martin, the 4-H agent here in Smith County. I came on board January in 2017, and I am so proud of the work that we have done over the last 6 years. In the last 6 years alone, we have tripled the amount of judging teams we participate in and nearly doubled the amount of classes that we deliver in-school club programming to. In Smith County, I deliver programming to just over 1,000 young people each month. We customize activities to meet the needs of our youth, our parents, our teachers, and our community members. Some of the activities you can find Smith County 4-Hers participating in is poultry judging, horse judging, hippology, horse bowl, outdoor meat cookery or grill master challenge, archery, livestock judging, livestock showing, forestry judging, wildlife judging, and a lot more. In our in-school clubs, we meet all of the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders and most of the 7th and 8th graders in the county. We hold contests like speech, poster, demonstration, and interactive exhibits to try to equip these young people with the communication skills they'll need to be successful in their future. 2022 was a big year for our Smith County 4-H members. Not only did we have a wildlife judging team compete at the state contest, our forestry judging team qualified to compete at the state contest, and our poultry judging team actually won the state contest. They then got to move on to the national level where they competed in Louisville, Kentucky. They ended up 5th in the nation, with one of our individuals placing 2nd. We are so proud of all of our judging teams, not just how they place, but for the hard work and dedication that they put into these judging competitions. We know that it's going to serve them well, whatever career field they go into. If you are a 4th through 12th grader in Tennessee, I can't encourage you enough to get involved with 4-H in your county. Here in Smith County 4-H, we do a lot of community service. We learn a lot of important knowledge and skills that will help us be successful in the future. We have a lot of fun together, make a lot of friendships and memories, and we also strive every day to make our best better.
Hi, I'm Mary Draper, and I'm the Family and Consumer Science Extension Agent here in Smith County. In FCS, we have 4 different knowledge areas: community health, nutrition and food safety, consumer economics, and human development. In Smith County, we focus largely on community health. We have Walk Across Tennessee, where teams of 8 pull their miles each week for 8 weeks in order to walk the distance across Tennessee, approximately 500 miles. We also have programs such as Walk with Ease, in which participants learn the proper way to walk, including warming up and cooling down. We have programs such as Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention, and Matter of Balance that is also geared towards fall prevention and better balance. In our other knowledge areas, we have programs for SNAP-eligible participants in order to better equip them for the workforce, called Skill Up Tennessee. We also offer Canning colleges each summer. In Smith County, we have a wonderful group of volunteerism for our FCS programs, and that's our FCE clubs. We have 8 different FCE clubs around the community, and we invite everybody to participate in one. Our FCE clubs do programs every month, and they also do a lot of good for the community. So they participate in things like the Chocolate Extravaganza, a fundraiser in which supports nonprofits in our community. The 8 groups also have programs that they work on, such as helping the Spot, an after-school program here in Smith County. They also have programs that they support for the Pregnancy Help Center. If you're interested in any of the FCS programs, just give us a call at 615-735-2900.
I'm Kyle Owen with Kyle Owen Farms. We farm about 6,000 acres in 5 different counties. We farm corn, soybeans, wheat, tobacco, watermelons, and pumpkins. We got started farming in 2003 with 32 acres of tobacco. I was a first-generation farmer. My father was a school teacher and farmed on the side. He had a small herd of cattle. We grew a very small amount of tobacco, but it was all I ever wanted to do. I was very passionate about agriculture and being in the farming industry. I worked for a lot of local farmers here when I was younger, and when I graduated high school, I went to work for a local construction company. Learned a lot there, very appreciative of the job, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So in 2003, we rented 32 acres of ground down in the Flat Rock community of Smith County and put it in tobacco, and we've grown from there. What I enjoy about farming is the fact that I'm outside 90% of the time. I really enjoy being outdoors. And I like the satisfaction of knowing that we're feeding America, we're feeding the world. Farming is just a very gratifying job. There's so many challenges nowadays with farming, much more than what it was 10 years ago. It's amazing in such a short period of time how many challenges have came up for us. We're facing development every day, losing farms to subdivisions and commercial buildings, things of that nature. Labor situation as always is a struggle. Very fortunate to have a great group of guys that work with us. I have nothing but praise for each and every one of them. They really devote a lot of time and effort to the farm and to the business, and very appreciative of my help. It's just so hard to find in the younger generation of people now, people that are interested in being involved in agriculture. But we rely heavily on the H-2A program, where we bring migrant workers up from Mexico, and that's been a lifesaver for us over the last 10 years. Over the last 10 years or so, we've really moved into using a lot of the technology that's available for ag now with our planting and spraying. We use auto-track guidance on all our machinery. Every row of everything that's planted is done with a machine that's actually driving itself. We've got row shutoffs on the planters where there's no overlap, no seed waste, and also on our sprayers. They cut themselves off and on when need be. That way we're not wasting chemical. It helps my pocketbook, and it's also much better for the environment. Conservation is a key factor in our business and our production every year. The land is what supplies us our living, and we want to conserve it and the environment as much as possible. We are 95% no-till on all of our row crops, minimum tillage on our tobacco and produce. We sow cover crops on 100% of every acre that we farm every year. If it's not in a winter wheat crop, it's sown in a cover crop blend with the help of NRCS. UT Extension's been a great tool for us, especially getting into the produce industry. It was sort of walking into an unknown for me. I was looking for another avenue, something to diversify just a little bit farther, and we've relied heavily on UT Extension for information about the produce business, diseases we're dealing with, insect problems, things of that nature, and especially when it comes down to the food safety part of it. They've been very informative and helpful. When we decided to get into the produce industry, we were looking for diversity, as I said, and after we've been involved in it, we've come to find that it's a little more user-friendly, I guess, for lack of a better word, for our operation. It's a shorter term. Our crop is planted and harvested in a shorter amount of time than let's say the tobacco crop is. As everyone knows, the tobacco crop is a 13-month-a-year job, and with the produce, we're planting in May, harvesting in July, August, up into the very 1st of September, and the crop's over with, done. We can get the plastic out of the fields, we can get the fields worked out and sown in a cover crop earlier to, there again, prevent erosion. We grow our watermelons on bedded hills covered in plastic with drip irrigation under them. We've got a farm that runs parallel with Interstate 40 just outside of Gordonsville, Tennessee, and as you well know, a lot of questions have arose about what this plastic may be. I've had phone calls from people that I hadn't talked to in years, just wondering what all this plastic is doing in these river bottoms, and it's just the process that we go through to grow these melons. They're planted into this plastic to help with weed control and also help hold the moisture and the nutrients in the ground right under the plant where they're needed. So after we harvest the melons, the plastic is all removed. It's probably the most difficult process of the entire watermelon crop, getting all that plastic up out of the field. We've used a machine called a plastic lifter that goes through and plows the plastic back up, but it all has to be rolled up and moved out of the field by hand. For a young person that was interested in ag, wanted to get started, start a farm, there's no doubt that it would be very difficult this day and time. Things are much different than they were when I started. Not saying that it's impossible, but it would be a challenge. It would take a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and a lot of help from neighbors, UT Extension, soil conservation departments. Be involved in everything you can, learn all you can, talk to farmers, talk to neighbors, talk to anyone you can to gather information that you're going to need down the road, whether it be right now or 10 years from now.
We are the Robinson family at Southern Foliage in Gordonsville, Tennessee, and we have been in business since 2010, and Joe is the one who started the company.
Hello.
This is our son Phoenix. I'm Stephanie. We grow and sell plants wholesale to retailers and garden centers, nurseries, plant shops, business. We do a lot of business-to-business work as well. We grow the plants in our greenhouses here, and then we call our customers and get their orders ahead of time, and then we ship our plants to them in our trucks. So we have a fairly large range, but it's just local within Tennessee and Kentucky.
We deliver 125 miles out from Gordonsville, Tennessee in
like a radius all the way around. And Gordonsville is actually a really good, convenient location to be because we're right by the interstate, and we have quick access to get to a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So it's conducive to business.
You can be anywhere from Gordonsville actually relatively quickly. And you call a flower shop, in Bowling Green, you call one and you just call a random one, pick one out of the phone book and ask them if they got Southern Foliage in their shop. Most likely they do. We're actually standing in the first greenhouse that we ever had. It was purchased from the lady that actually lives across the street. She ran a small greenhouse. We purchased it from the greenhouse from her and a little bit of supplies and an old truck from her in 2010. And after that, we just kind of figured it out along the way. The first year or two as we started out growing stuff and bringing stuff up from our sister nurseries in Florida, we barely were able to make it to Nashville from the old trucks breaking down. But as time grew, we've added on a warehouse. We've added on 6,000 or so square feet of greenhouse space, not counting what we have in here. And we're currently in the process of building another couple thousand square feet out back as well on the other side of this greenhouse.
He did have family experience. So growing up, he was in greenhouses. His parents owned their own greenhouse business, and he was already getting slowly, trained as a kid learning how to grow plants and how to sell them, how to take care of them and everything. So I would say that plant care is in his blood.
We took agriculture in high school. Me and a couple of friends of mine was on the state championship floriculture team in 2003 and 2004. So we did know all the we knew all the plant names and basic care tips to begin with, plus the family background that I had to start with. It's very rewarding in the fact that we're actually kind of helping heal people in some ways. It's a 2 or 3 step process really before it gets there, but most of the plants that we sell end up going to an end user that's in grief, that has been to the funeral home. That's most of your plants that a florist sells goes as a sympathy piece to a funeral home or to somebody's home who's lost a loved one. And it's kind of an idea to remember them with the plant. And as that plant's there, they can remember that's where they got it from, that's where it come from. And it gives that person a little sense of closure and happiness that they're still part of that person, still with them today.
And also, in addition to funeral work, plants have really taken a huge leap in popularity, especially since COVID. People were staying home and they needed something to do and they couldn't, get out and do fun things. So finding a new hobby was when houseplants became very popular. People started buying them just rampantly. And so it's also just a trending thing to have houseplants. You have a lot of new businesses popping up that are plant shops and all they sell is plants. And so, the things that go to florists for funeral work are going to be really traditional plants, very classic, easy, pretty things. And we have those, but we also have increased our inventory to include some more unique things so that the plant enthusiast, the plant mama, the plant daddy, all of those little, cute things, they can have some interesting plant varieties to choose from as well. So that's one of the ways that we've also expanded. One of the things that makes us unique as a company, a family really in the business, is that I was a florist for 20 years. That was how we met. So he was delivering plants and I was receiving them. I got to go on the truck and pick them out, and then he wooed me over years. So, and then we have our lovely Phoenix. So it's a kind of a cute story. But because of that, I've been the customer. I know what florists like and what they sell. And I did design, plant gardens when I was a florist, and he designed them as well ahead of that. So I think we have a pretty good idea of, the aesthetic and how to get things put together. And so we're able to train our team to know, how to make things look beautiful. Finding the right fit of someone who likes to sweat and likes to get their hands dirty, but also is willing to learn design is the key to finding a good employee. And once you find them, you just love them profusely and make sure they stay. But as far as teaching them how to care for the plants and how to make, garden designs in our containers, it's actually a pretty quick learning curve. We give them examples to go by. We do a little bit of hands-on training, but I would say, everybody's a little different, but probably within a week or two, people have a pretty good sense of how to get things done.
If they have the background in agriculture, it's helpful. It's very helpful, yeah.
Yeah. So we try to bring in as much knowledge and information as we can, and the enthusiasm is really the key. So if you have an enthusiastic plant person, you're a step ahead.
Yeah. And we continually try to educate our employees. We subscribe to trade show books, magazines. We're out fixing to start taking some classes too as well for the guy that runs our greenhouses. He's going to go back to school to learn how to do some
greenhouse
management stuff.
We have about 10 employees.
Yeah. We have about 10 employees total. I think we have about 6 or 7 right now. In the summertime and spring, Mother's Day, we'll add a couple more part-time people to help get the orders out a little quicker. There might be 50 or 75 different varieties of plants right now, being January, but come May, when we have a lot more outside tropicals like hibiscus, and you have your hanging ferns, you have hydrangeas, you have potted azaleas, and you also, through the fall you have mums, winter you have poinsettias and Christmas cactus and amaryllis. So we can really really get out there as time goes on.
As a plant business, it's something that does fluctuate with the seasons. So you're working with a perishable product, and normally it's something that, they vary by season, and the popularity is going to shift throughout the year. The benefit of tropical house plants is they're kind of a year-round crop. But like he said, we do have things that come into season and they're only here for a limited window of time. And so in those holiday peaks, we have a lot more varieties in stock. So that's when you'll see about 300 varieties available at the same time. And then, times in January, post-holiday, post any holiday really, it's gonna go down quite a bit, and we'll go back to mostly foliage and green plants and things that are year-round.
Yeah.
What a fun day here in Smith County. It never ceases to amaze me, the quality of individuals we have here, the farmers that we've got. A gem like Southern Wholesale Foliage that a lot of folks in Smith County probably don't know about. So glad to introduce you to the Robinsons. I also hope you enjoyed the tour of Kyle Owen Farms. First-class operation, first-class farmers, and that's what you find here in Smith County. That's what you find across Middle Tennessee, and it's been a joy to have you along for season 2 of Cultivating Communities.
Absolutely. I loved learning more about how Southern Foliage ships to florists and other retailers. I feel like that's such a unique thing. And then learning a little bit more about Kyle Owen's farm, a little bit more traditional agriculture, but doing something new with the watermelons. I just so appreciate them for welcoming us out, and loved getting to learn alongside them. Thank you guys for coming along for this episode and this season of Cultivating Communities. We hope you will join us back next time.
Give me a sound check. Chris, you suck. What a fun day in Smith County. Glad to
We know it's going to pay off.
Rachel, cut there.
We are glad to have you in Smith County this episode. Sorry.
Great.
The possibility of having a beer and a cigarette without me is impossible.